Hey guys, welcome back. Systems of equations by substitution. This is what we were working on before we went on that extended, that break that we took. I wouldn't really call it a vacation, would you? Anyway, systems of equations are where we have two or more equations and two or more variables. And we use one equation to solve for one of the variables in the other equation, and then we take that variable back to get the value of the other one. First thing I need to do, and this should be in the notes that you guys took before we went on vacation. Oops, I said it. Anyway, in your notes, you should have step by step. The first step is to solve for x or y. And I get to pick to solve for this x, or this x, or this y, or this y. If you remember, we're going to solve for this x right here, because he's by himself. It'll just make things easier. We could solve for this y, but we'll have to divide everything by a -2 to get y by itself. That creates fractions. Same story with the -3 and the -5. But if we solve for this x, which is all by itself, all we got to do is to add the 2y to the other side. Okay? So if we add 2y to both sides, this equation is going to become that x is equal to -2 plus 2y. Or you could write 2y minus 2. It's your choice. Now that I know exactly what x is equal to, I can take this equation right here, and we can pull the x out, and we can substitute in what it is exactly equal to. So we have -3 times x. Now instead of the x, we're going to write what it's equal to. -2 plus 2y. Now, that's only part of this equation, -3x, because this is equal to x. We still need that -5y is equal to 6. Okay, so we're going to set this equation aside for just a few minutes. We're going to solve this one. We've converted the x into y's, so now I can solve for y here. First thing I need to do is I need to simplify, because this side is a mess. So let's use the distributive property. Pay attention to those negatives. Negative times a negative is going to be a +6. Negative times a positive is going to be a -6y. And then we're going to tack on that -5y and finish out our equation. Okay, we've simplified a little bit, but not as much as we can. Let's combine these two guys right here. If I've got -6y's and -5y's, how many negative y's do we have? We have 11 of them. Okay, now we're getting closer. I need to get that y all by itself, so let's move the 6 over here. Subtracting 6 from each side. Don't let it bother you. Don't get freaked out. I know that it's 6 minus 6 on each side. That tells me that -11y is equal to what? What's 6 minus 6? Is 0. Now if I divide both sides by -11, we find out that y is equal to 0. Okay? Now we can take y is equal to 0 and we can pull it back up into this equation here, where we know that x is equal to -2 plus 2 times y. Y is 0. So x is equal to -2 plus 0, or -2. That tells me that my answer, x is equal to -2, y is equal to 0. These two linear equations cross or intersect each other at the point -2, 0.